Hello, Peter from One for Fun here. Today I'm going to be talking about how I stopped following traditional workout plans here in 2025 and instead focused on a more consistent way of training. In your traditional training plans you have your down weeks, you have your peak weeks, you have your periodization, and you have your monster interval sessions and big hard long runs. But in this method that I've been following, all of this is out the window. Instead, it's focused more on the consistent approach, doing the same thing every week. Let me take you out on a run and I will explain more.
In a traditional training plan, you often have really big workouts and long runs with some tempo in. And then you hit like these big weeks, and then you have some down weeks, usually. And that means that you're running a big injury risk in the peak weeks, and in the down weeks you're not getting the full benefit because you're not training hard enough. And yeah, what I'm doing now is inspired by a thread on a running forum called Let's Run, where the man Sir Puck has written about how he's trying to kind of fit the way he trained in cycling into running. And it's a lot of focus on being consistent and hitting the most amount of like the training load, maximizing that every week for something that you can maintain. Not just something that you can do 1 week and then you have to rest. No, you have to maintain it for the whole year. Like you do the same training the whole year. I'll leave the link in the description to the running forum thread where this is being discussed, but if you don't want to dig into 250 pages of discussion, then I'll just explain it in my video here. So for me, I do the way I do this running method, which is also called the Norwegian Singles Approach, because it's like slightly inspired by the Norwegian approach, double threshold training. And Jakob Ingebrigtsen's brother, who's Christopher Ingebrigtsen, is doing kind of this like of Norwegian singles, so he's not doing doubles, he's just doing singles. And for me, what I do is I do 3 days of like easy running, then 1 day long run, but that's also just an easy run, it's just a bit longer, and then I do 3 days of sub-threshold. And when I say sub-threshold, I'm not talking about hitting some kind of sub-threshold pace. It's kind of a state of a sub-threshold, which means that if you do read the thread, you can also see the man Sir Puck, who kind of like, let's say, thought of this method, or at least wrote about it the first. He's improved a ton from running like let's say 18 something 5Ks to now doing like 15 minutes. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of people in that thread and on Reddit and Strava who's part of, Strava, it's called the Norwegian Singles Approach, if you want to give it a look. And people are having some discussions there about the method, and they have improved a lot. And for me, I can also really feel it. I've started since March, so not that long, but I can really feel how I'm getting better. And I have proven in 5Ks, where I went from like 18:45 to 17:52, that it's not just like my let's say 15K pace that's improving, it's also my 5K pace. Even though I'm never touching it in training, I still improve that just by running these a little bit slower sessions, but where I get a lot of volume. So like I said before, it's 8 times 1K, 5 times 2K, and 3 times 3K. That gives a total of see 27k per week where I'm running quite fast, and then maybe I run, let's say 60k of easy running, something like that. That would be 87k. It's around where I want to aim each week. And in the method it says you have to have like 25 to 30% of your time in this sub-threshold zone. If you go above, there's too big of a risk of injury. Right now I'm walking because I ate too much cake this day, I can feel, and my stomach is like really fragile. I think also with a slight gluten intolerance, so yeah, don't do that if you have a really finicky stomach. But the main idea of the method is also really like you avoid the periodization. So usually you have, like I mentioned before, these big weeks, these big peak weeks, and then you have your down weeks or your recovery weeks, but you also have tapers and everything. And all this together is just a lot of weeks where you're not training properly, and you might also get overtrained, which means you have even more week of not training properly, or even worse, you get injured, which again, a lot of training time that you're missing. So with this method you're more likely to stay injury free. You have to find your paces. Don't go too hard. Like when you start out, let's say your 15k pace, maybe that's a little bit too high for your 1k reps. Then maybe you go a little bit below. There's also a calculator for this kind of method, where it gives you like some pace ranges you can try, and you can see what fits with you. For me, I also take a look at not just the paces but also my heart rate. So I know my threshold heart rate according to my watch is around 173, and I use that as a guideline to stay below 173 because that's threshold. So I want to stay like below that, and that should only, like, I can hit 173, but that should be like the last rep. Before that I shouldn't touch it. It's happened a few times, but then I have to slow down. Running less than, say, 5 times a week, then you can probably also put in more intensity because you have more recovery days anyway. So you kind of have to find what's right for you. If you're just running 3 days a week, then you should probably do more intensity in your sessions if you want to improve. But yeah, for me, who runs like 6 to 7 days a week usually, then it fits perfectly because yeah, I don't get the injury risk, but I still get really good training load and training stimulus. So I've mentioned some of the pros, which were basically lower injury risk and being able to run consistently and improving quite a lot, at least for a lot of people. But if we have to take a look at the cons, then I would say it's a very monotonous training mode. Like you're basically doing the same kind of training every week and the same intervals every week. So if you don't enjoy that, then it's probably not the training method for you. Although the monotony can also be part of the strength, because it's very easy to compare your data from one week to another and 1 month to another. You can just say, okay, before I was running this pace with this heart rate, and now I'm running with this heart rate, and then hopefully you can see that it has improved. And this is like, normally you can't see this because you might one week be doing 400 meter repeats, and the next week you're doing 2 kilometer repeats, so you can't use that to compare. And if you're following different running plans, then the only thing you can really compare is your race time and like your easy runs. But yeah, this makes it a lot easier to process the data you have. A key part of the training method is also to run your easy runs easy, because you don't want to go too overboard and then getting a higher injury risk. And for me, I aim for below 70% max heart rate when I run my easy runs, which means it's really easy. So for me, that's like below 136 heart rate, and my max heart rate is around 195. Check this weather, by the way, hailing and raining at the same time. Lovely.
Hello, I'm home again, and I kind of forgot to explain what sub-threshold sessions are, and like what's the idea. And basically the idea is it's not some kind of specific pace, it's just a pace where you're kind of getting to a state of sub-threshold, so before you reach your true threshold. And this will be different for people. You can find this out by like buying a lactate meter and taking all these tests and such, but you don't have to. I haven't done that because I don't want to mess around with that kind of stuff. So you can just like start from the paces that you find in the calculator, and then you can give it a go, and you can see, okay, can I maintain this every week if I'm doing 3 sessions and such. So it doesn't have to get all that scientific like Christopher Ingebrigtsen, for example, is doing. You can just take it more casual. And yeah, that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope I catch you in the next video. I'm gonna be soon running my A race for the year, which is the Aarhus Half Marathon. Right now I'm a little bit sick, but I hope I can get it together in like 20 days. So, see ya!